It was the first time that I ever drove towards a storm, so I actually went the day before the storm hit to the state EOC. They requested deployment for liaisons for urban search and rescue and firefighting. So I went up there and I was a liaison. So we basically take the urban search and rescue teams that were going to look for victims after the storm cleared, and then we were directing where they went. Especially along the beach where the water came in, there was a lot of destruction. When we went and kind of surveyed some of the areas that were east, Panama City, Mexico Beach area, there was up to a 30-foot storm surge. And if you kind of think of that here, what that means for us in the city and along the coast here is the barrier islands aren't 30 feet high. So if you think about what the water would do to that, we have to plan for that. We have to plan for it now.
And what would you say is the most difficult thing your team experienced while up there?
I would say for me personally, it was taking in the wellness check phone calls, and it was people that were calling in and saying, hey, my mother was there, my mother was on Mexico Beach, or my father was on Panama City Beach, or it was those things. And when those calls were coming in and we were looking at the next day when we were looking at the maps of where those addresses were, and their houses were gone. And it was, thinking about, how are those people, what happened to those people? Are they okay? You got to understand that when that storm came through, the cell service was gone. It was non-existent in certain areas. So they weren't able to get a hold of their families. They weren't able to get a hold of their friends. And taking those wellness calls in and hearing the stories and hearing that those people were there, and I'm looking at the map now and there's no house, it's gone. It was very tough. It was tough to hear those stories.
Are you glad you went?
Yeah, it was an invaluable lesson. And like I said, I've never driven towards a storm, especially of that magnitude before. So that was, in itself, like I said, it was invaluable. It was an invaluable lesson. I learned a lot on that trip, and I learned a lot of information to bring back to the city to help the citizens of West Palm.